Hello Silly Bakers, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Nini and I love to create healthier recipes. We're talking another version of a quinoa pudding. So I have posted a few versions of my quinoa pudding and just an overview. I posted this recipe on Pinterest a few years ago and it completely took off. And I posted the recipe here on YouTube a number of months ago. And I actually created an updated version, a more high protein version, a little while back. And a lot of you have really loved that recipe. I love quinoa pudding because I love rice pudding. I've always loved rice pudding, even as a kid, and this is kind of my, grown-up version of a rice pudding, which has a little bit more protein, and it's a really good grain, and I always have quinoa on hand. So this is something that I kind of put together over the weekend, and it's apple pie meets quinoa pudding. I had a couple of apples in my fridge that were looking a bit sad and I needed to use them up. And I thought, why don't I incorporate those apple pie flavors into my quinoa pudding? Because I was making a batch for the week. So I put them together and it was quite magical. It's so delicious. So whoever has tried my quinoa pudding in the past, guys, and you guys like apples and apple pie, you're gonna love this. And I used a Honeycrisp apple, but you guys can use whatever apples you love. A couple steps, we're gonna cook the apples first, just for a few minutes with some spices and some sweetener and all that stuff. And then we're gonna make our pudding and then just put them together. And it lasts in the fridge for the week. And it's such a great treat, good breakfast, good any time of day. So I hope you guys give this one a try. I love it, and we'll definitely be making this again. So before we get to the recipe, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like and share videos with your friends and family. So let's learn how to make this apple pie quinoa pudding. So let's cook our apples. I'm going to grab a medium sauce pot and I'm going to turn the temperature to a low-medium heat. I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of butter. You could add a little more or a little less, up to you. And we're going to add our chopped apples. I'm using 2 medium-sized Honeycrisp apples. Don't worry about the size of them. 2 smallish to medium apples will work here. And we are just going to cook these in the butter for about 4 to 5 minutes, just so they can soften. So after about 4 minutes, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Use really any liquid sweetener you like. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of cinnamon. This is Ceylon cinnamon. Sorry about all the steam there. 1 teaspoon of good quality vanilla. And we're just gonna mix everything. And I'm just gonna cook it for about 1 or 2 more minutes. If you want your apples to be a lot softer, feel free to cook this a little longer. I'm just going to set those aside while we make our quinoa pudding. So we are going to add 2 cups of milk. I'm using soy milk, and it really depends. Sometimes I will combine my milks, but the higher the fat in the milk, the creamier the pudding will be. This is half a cup of rinsed white quinoa. I'm adding 2 servings of collagen powder for that extra protein, and it also dissolves really beautifully in the liquid. I'm using a pinch of Celtic salt, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Use any sweetener you like. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. 1 teaspoon of good quality vanilla. This is Sassy Kathy's vanilla. And I'm going to mix all of these ingredients. So I just want to wait until this mixture comes to a simmer. Once it is simmering, I'm going to give it another stir just to ensure that it's not sticking. So we want to ensure that there is a consistent simmer throughout the cooking process. This way the quinoa cooks evenly. You want to decrease the temperature to low. I'm going to add my lid, and I'm going to ensure that I leave it open just a little for the steam to escape. After the 6-minute mark, I'm going to give it a good stir, again just to ensure that nothing is sticking, and also to ensure that there is a simmer going on, which there is here, which is great. And I'm going to add the lid back on, and then I'm going to wait another 6 minutes or so. So this is at the 12-minute mark, and you can see that some of the liquid has already absorbed. And again, I'm going to give it a good stir. And we're going to put the lid back on, again leaving a little space for steam to escape. This is after 18 minutes, and you can see quite a bit of liquid has absorbed here. I like to taste it at this point. Every quinoa brand is a little different. So when you do taste the quinoa, ensure that there isn't too much of a bite. I'm going to wait and cook this for another 2 minutes or so. And after the 2 minutes, I'm going to add that extra 1/4 cup of milk. This will decrease the temperature, so when I add my 1/3 cup of egg whites, they won't scramble. And we want to stir this continuously for 2 minutes so those egg whites cook. Don't worry about this looking liquidy. When the quinoa cools, it will thicken quite a bit. After 2 minutes of cooking those egg whites, I'm going to now add my cooked cinnamon apples. And then just give everything a really good stir. The heat is still on here, but we're just going to stir this for another minute or so. Turn off the heat, and then transfer the pudding to a container with a lid so we can store it in the fridge once it's cooled. Here is our high protein apple pie quinoa pudding. One serving has 16 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber. Enjoy this warm, enjoy it cold, and it lasts in the fridge for 3 to 4 days. It is delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and to subscribe to our channel for more healthy recipes. If you do try this apple pie quinoa pudding, let me know in the comments below. I will include the measurements and instructions in the description box as well as in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and happy baking.